is all about understanding how we calculate grades in a secondary school.
So it might seem complicated, but I promise with a little practice, it becomes easy.
We will cover different methods and work through examples together. So, let's go! Okay, good vibes everyone. So, let's start our journey with task 1. So, in our task 1, okay, so in the task 1, we have grades here and our task is to solve or determine which grades we have failed using 7-point scale and 8-point scale grading system. So, here are the grades obtained in a class of grade 8 students. So the first set of grades is A2, A4, A2, A3, and the rest to A8. So, and the next set of grades for the 8-point scale grading scale, which are 86, 86, 90, and 278. So, our task here is to determine which grades failed using both normative grading scale that has 7-point and 8-point grading scale. So, in number 1, our task is to using the 7-point scale, we determine the score we get the filling mark and its marginal comment on this. So, we have here a table for both 7-point grading scale and 8-point grading scale, which we're going to use in order to determine which filling grade in set A and set B. So to determine the score that will get filling grades marking using this grading scale, we first need to understand the range of grades associated with the scale. So in general, so if your grade is 93 to 100, it means you got an A, which means excellent. And if your grade is 85 to 92, you got B and your mark is very good, and C is good, which is 74 and 84, and D fair, it means that you pass or you're holding to the last steps. So 78 means, and if you got F, so your grade is 69 below, it means that you failed the subject. And in comparison, in the 8-point scale grading scale, so 92 to 100, so you got an A, which is excellent. So compared to the 7-point scale, that here 92 in the 8-point scale, 92, which means you got an A. However, in the 7-point scale, 92 is you got only B. So it means that it's very important to understand this scale in order for you to determine if your grades are failed or you pass. So that's it. So let's dive in answering all the questions. So question number 1. So in question number 1, using norm reference grading with a 7-point scale, we need to determine the scores that will get a filling mark and what is our general comment on this. So based on the sets in the set 1, so the set 1 is for the 7-point grading scale. So understanding the data set in this grade. So the final grades obtained in the class of grade students in the set A. So as you can see that the highest grade I mean is 92. So if going to look at it in the 7-point scale grading scale, so it means 92. So the 92 is equivalent to B, which means that the students got a B, which is very good. So our task in number 1 is we need to identify which grade would get filling mark. However, in the set A, the lowest grade is 75. And in the table of the 7-point grading scale, 75 got D, which means fair. So it means that the set A, there's no filling grade. It is because in the table, 69 and below is marked as failed. So as you can see that in the set A, the lowest grade is 75. So it means that no one get filling mark. So what is our general comment on this? So our general comment on the question number 1 based on the grades here in SFA. So the grades of the students indicate that they are consistent in their academic performance since their grades are all good and there's no failing marks. So with all students getting this score, so it means that most scores fail within very good and fair. So we can say that there's an excellent since excellent is 93 and 100, 93 to 100. So and there's no 93 here. So it means that the students only fall between good and fair. So the lowest score is 75. So our comment on this is that it's still not fail and it falls in range of fair meaning that the group of students had a solid grasp of the material but could not improve to reach higher performance. It means that the students need to improve more so that next time we'll get grade is good and to excellent.
So in number 2, using a non-reference grading with an 8-point grading scale, determine the scores that will get a failing mark. So how is it compared to the previous grading system used? So the highest grade in the set B is 91 and the lowest is 75. So as we refer it to the table in 8-point grading scale, the highest is 91. So a student got a letter grade of B. So it means their marks is very good. Then the lowest score is 75, which means the student got C. So their mark is good. So as you can see, no one got a failing mark. It is because if the student got 64 below, it means the student will fail. But the lowest score in the set B is 75, so that means all of them can pass. So how is it compared to the previous grading system used? So as you can see, in 8-point grading scale, if the student got 92, her or his remark or the letter grade of the student will got A, which means their marks is excellent. Compared to 7-point grading scale, if a student got 92, the remark or the letter grade of the student is only very good. So if a student got 69 grade in a 7-point grading scale, the student will fail. However, in 8-point grading scale, if a student got 69, it will still pass because the failing grade in 8-point grading scale is 64 and below. So if the student gets 69, so the student will still pass in 8-point grading scale. As we conclude, in a 7-point grading scale, it is more strict and have high standard compared to 8-point grading scale.
So let's proceed in task 1B. So in task 1B, compute the grade of a student in number 1, grade 7 English with the following rule scores. Written work 72 out of 90 and performance task 86 out of 100. Score in quarterly test 67 out of 85.
Okay, now let's go to compute the grade of student in grade 7 English with the following roll score. So we're going to put it in a table to make it more understandable. So number 1 is the grade 7 English with a roll score of 72 in the written works and has a higher percentage score of 90. So to solve this, we're going to divide 72 divided by 90. So 72 divided by 90 is 0.8, and then we're going to multiply it by 100. So 72 divided by 90. So 72 divided by 90 equals 0.8 times 100. So the answer is 80. So the percentage form here is 80. And next, we're going to compute the weight score with the weight of the component is 30%. So as you can see, the subject is English and the English here has a weight of the component of quarterly assessment is 20%. Since the percentage score is 80, so we're going to multiply it by 0.3, which is the weight component. So 8 times 0.3 equals 24. So this is the weighted score of written work in the subject English. Now we're heading to the performance task. So the performance task, it has a raw score of 86 and the highest possible score is 100. So just like the other step, so we're going to divide 86 divided by 110, which the answer is 0.78. So the answer is 0.78. Then multiplied by 100, so it will become 78. So the percentage score of the performance task is 78. And then next is the weighted score. So the weighted score of the weight of the component of subject English is 50%. So then we're going to multiply 78 by 0.5. So 78 times 0.5, so the answer is 39. So the weighted score of English in the performance task is 39. And lastly is the quarterly assessment. So quarterly assessment, a grade 7 student has a raw score of 67 and the highest possible score is 85. So we're going to divide 67 divided by 85 is 0.79. Then 0.
Sige na.
And lastly, in the quarterly assessment, the student has a raw score of 67. And then the possible high score is 85. So we're going to multiply 67 by, divide 67 by 85. So 67 divided by 85 is equals 0.788. And then next is going to multiply the 0.788 to 100. So the answer is 78.8. So that is the percentage score of the subject English in the quarterly assessment. And then next is going to calculate the weighted score. So the weight of the component in subject English is 20%. So we're going to multiply 78.8 to 0.2. So 78.8 times 0.2 equals 15.8. So this is the weighted score of the quarterly assessment in the subject English is 50.8. And then next is to get the initial grade. So to get the initial grade, we just have to add all the weighted score and all the components. So 24 plus 39 plus 15.8 to get the initial grade. So 24 plus 39 plus 15.8 equals 78 equals 78.8. So this is the initial grade of the student in the English subject. So we're going to transmit it to have her or his quarterly grade. So here particularly the transmitted value is 86. So this is her quarterly grade in the English subject.
So let's proceed to number 2. Grade 10 student in math with following row scores. So in written work, 34 out of 55. Performance task, 40 out of 80. And score in quarterly task, 38 out of 50.
So let's proceed to the computation of number 2. So since the subject in number 2 is math, so the weighted components of the reading works in math is 40%, and the performance task is 40%, and the quarterly assessment is 20%. So the highest possible score in reading works is 55. So the raw score of a graded student in math is 34. So to get the percentage score, we need to divide 34 over 55. So the answer is 0.62 times 100. So the sum is 62. So 62 is the So let's proceed to performance task. So the row score of a student is 40. To get the percentage score, we need to multiply divide 40 over 80. So the answer is 0.5. Then multiplied by 100 equals 50. So 50 is the percentage score of a student in performance task. To get the weighted score, we need to multiply 50 times 40%. So the decimal number of 40% is 0.4. So 50 times 0.4 is 20. So 20 is the weighted score of a student in performance task. So last, the quarterly assessment. So the row score in quarterly assessment is 38. Then we need to divide it by 50, and the answer is 0.76 times 100 equals 76. So 76 is the percentage score. Then the weighted score, we need to multiply 76 by 20%, which is the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 76 times 0.2 is 15.2. To get the initial grade, we need to add all the weighted score from written works, which is 24.8 plus 20 in performance tasks, and lastly 15.2 in quarterly assessment. So the answer is 60. So 60 is the initial grade of a student. So in getting the quarterly grade, we need to transmute 60. So the transmuted grade of 60 is 75. So 75 is the quarterly grade of a student in math subject.
So to conclude, the grade 7 student with the English subject and the grade 10 student with subject math, their quarterly grade both passed, so that their remarks in the both subject.
So now let's dive into task 2. So according to Kubizim and Borch 2010, the grading system used in K-12 is using the front-end equating approach. So the assessment scores are immediately converted to a 100-point scale, and then composite marks are averaged and weighted. So in this table are the percentage scores of Miss Maris and Arlene Patimunan for the first grading period. So reading works are included a concept map, essays, news writing, news or article review, and a couple of reaction papers. So performance tasks were comprised of timelines, news reporting, debate, and role play. To complete this blank space in this table, we must calculate the total row score in each component. So to determine the percentage scores, apply the percentage weights or weighted scores and calculate her first quarter grade.
Okay, so to complete the table so in order to avoid confusion, we have a legend here. So WW, it means it is that we can work, and the PT, which means performance task, and the PS, which means the percentage score, and the QA is the quarterly assessment. So in order to get the percentage score, we have the formula here. So the formula in getting the percentage score, we need to divide the learner's total row score, which is the row scores, for example, is the 18. So this is the learner's total row score. So we need to divide the total row score with the highest possible score. So the highest possible score is 25. So and then we need to divide the here, and then the answer is we need to multiply to 100%. So that's how we're going to get the percentage score. So to get the weight score, so the formula is we need to multiply the percentage score multiplied by the weight of the component. So the weight of the component, the Department of Education here in the Philippines provided or created a weight of component in every subject. So these are the weight of component provided by the Department of Education. So here is the weight of the components for grade 10. So in every subject, there are 3 components: the written word, the performance task, and the quarterly assessment. So in the subject, languages, AP, Aralin Panipunan, and Edukasyon sa Pagpapahalaga. So in written word, the weight is 30%, and the performance task is 50%, and the quarterly assessment is 20%. And the subjects, science and math, the weight of each component in written work is 40%, performance task 40%, and quarterly assessment 20%. And lastly, in the subject MAPI, which is the music, arts, physical education, and health, and the education sa pagpapahalog
EPP.
Okay. And lastly, the subject MAPI, which is the music, arts, physical education, health, and the subject education, pantahanan, at pangkabuhayan, and the TLA, the weight of each component is in written work is 20%, and in performance task is 60%, and the quarterly assessment is 20%. So the DPED provided for us in order to calculate the raw score of each weight of the component.
So to get Miss Marie's final rating in Araling Panlipunan, we need to get the percentage score and the weighted score. So first, we need to get the percentage score and the weighted score in her written work. So there are 7 written works. So in the written work 1, the highest possible score is 25 and her raw score is 18. In the written work 2, the highest possible score is 20, then her score is 10. In written work 3, the highest possible score is 30 and the score of Maurice is 19. Then written work 4, the highest possible score is 20 and then the score of Maurice is 20. In written work number 5, the highest possible score is 25 and then the raw score of Maurice is 22. And in written work 6, the highest possible score is 30 and then the raw score of Maurice is 25. And lastly, the written work 7 is the highest possible score in written work 7 is 40 and then the raw score of Maurice is 30. So to get the percentage score, we must first add this total raw score of Maurice from written work number 1 up to written work number 7. So I have here a calculator so that we can easily add this raw score. So first, 18 plus 10 plus 19 plus 20 plus 22 plus 25 and plus 30. So the total is 144. Since we already have the total of Maurice's raw score, so now we can proceed to get the percentage score. So the formula is percentage score equals the learner's total raw score, which is 144, over the highest possible score, which is 119, since that is the total from written work 1 to written work 7. So 144 over 190 equals to 0.76. And then after dividing this, we need to multiply 0.76 times 100 equals to, so it is 75.79. This is the percentage score of Miss Maurice. So we have the answer, so let's put in this table. 5.79. So to get the weighted score, we need to multiply percentage score times weight of component. So the weight of component of Araling Panlipunan, we have here 30%. So since the component of written work is in Araling Panlipunan is 30%, so we have to multiply 75.79 times 0.
So in performance tasks, there are 4 performance tasks in Miss Maurice in Araling Panlipunan. So the performance task number 1, which the highest possible score is 20, and Miss Maurice's raw score is 16. And the performance task number 2, which is the highest score is 30, and the Miss Marie's row score is 24. The performance task number 3, the highest possible score is 30, and Miss Marie's got 24. And then the last one is the performance task number 4, which the highest possible score is 30, and the Miss Marie's row score is 28. So, first step in going to get the percentage score, we need to add all Miss Marie's row score in performance task. So, to add this, we need to add 16 plus equals. So, we need to add all her row score in performance task in order to get the total number. So, 16 plus 24 plus 24 plus 28. So, Miss Marie's total row score in the performance task is, she got 92. So, the total here is 92. So, that's her total row score in her performance task. Since we already calculated her total row score, so since the total row score is 92, next we're going to solve her percentage score. So, the formula in getting the percentage score is to divide the learner total row score divided by the total highest possible score times 100%. So, since Miss Marie's total row score is 92, so 92, and then the total of the highest possible score in the performance task is 110. So, we need to divide this. So, I have heard that 92 divided by 110 is 92 divided by 110 is 0.84. So 0.84. So next is we're going to multiply this to 100. So 0.84 times 100. So the total percentage score is 83.64. So this is the percentage score of Miss Marie's in performance task. So we need to write it here. So okay naman. So this is Miss Marie's percentage score in performance task, which is 83.64. Now, since the table layer in the weighted score is already provided, so first we need to know why this answer came up. So, since in added component, the weighted component is a performance task is 50%. So, we just need to multiply the 83.64 to the weighted component, which is 50%, which is 0.5 in decimal number. So, the answer is 41.82. So, Miss Marie's weighted score in performance task is 41.82. So, that's her weighted score in her performance task.
So, to complete this table, we need to get her weighted score and quarterly assessment. So, to get the percentage score, we need to divide the row score, which is 30, and the high score is 50. So, the answer is 0.6, and we need to multiply it by 100. And the answer is 60. So, the answer here is 60. So, the weight component of Arroyo Panlipunan and quarterly assessment is 20%. So, the decimal number of 20% is 0.2.
Sige.
So, in order to get the weighted score, we need to multiply 60 times 0.2 equals, the answer is 12. So, the answer is 12.
Since we already have completed the weighted score of Miss Marie's written work, performance task, and quarterly assessment, we need to calculate the quarter grade of Miss Marie's. To compute the quarter grade of Miss Marie's, we need to add all the weighted score of Miss Marie's from her written work up to her quarterly assessment. In her written work, her weighted score is 22.74 plus 41.82 in her performance task, and lastly 12 in her quarterly assessment. So the total is 76.56. So the quarter grade of Miss Marie's is 76.56. So we already have completed the table, so we concluded that Miss Marie's quarter grade is 76.56.
So the initial grade will be, so this is the initial grade. So the initial grade will be transmuted using the given transmutation table provided by the Department of Education. So the grade that we need to put in the card of the student is the transmuted grade. So since the transmuted grade in the table, so the equivalent of 76.56 is, so this initial grade will be transmuted using the given transmutation table provided by the Department of Education. So in the table, the equivalent of 76.56 is the transmuted to, it will become 85. So this is the quarter grade of Miss Marie's in Aralin Panlipunan. So, and suppose these are the grades of Miss Marie's in every quarter, since we assume that in the first quarter Miss Marie's got 85 grade. So we need to assume that Miss Marie's got 85. And then now the next step is to get her final rating in Aralin Panlipunan. So since we already got all the grades in every quarter, so the final step is to get her final rating, which is the solution is to add all her grades in every quarter. So and it divided by 4, since there are 4 grades in every quarter. So we need to add all the grades in every quarter. So 85 plus 87 plus 88 plus 90 and divided by 4. So we need to add all her quarter grades. So 85 plus 87 plus 88 plus 90 equals 350. So 350. And we need to divide it by 4 to get her final rating. 350 divided by 4 is 87.5. So this is her final rating, 87.5. Since this is decimal number, we need to round it off to become a whole number. So we need to write it on the nearest 10. So 87.5, since 5 is greater, so it will become 88. So Miss Marie's final rating in Aralin Panlipunan is 88. So this is the final rating of Miss Marie's in Aralin Panlipunan. So based on the grading system of the Department of Education, if your final rating is 75 and below, this means that your descriptive rating is failed. However, in the case of Miss Marie's grades in Miss Marie's case, in her quarter grades in Aralin Panlipunan, her final rating is 88. So this means that her grade is 75 and above. So that's why her descriptive rating is passed.
Since we're done computing Miss Marie's final grade and arrangement punan, which is 88. So let's move on to task 2B, which is computing Miss Marie's general average in this school year. So the formula of getting a general average is sum of final grades of learning areas over the total number of learning areas in the grade level. So her descriptive rating is pass. So now let's add her final grade to get her a general average. 89 plus 89 plus 82 plus 87 plus 88 plus 91 plus 85 plus 74 over the total number of learning areas in grade level, which is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 89 plus 89 plus 82 plus 87 plus 88 plus 91 plus 85 plus 74 is the answer is 685. Over 8. And the answer is 85.62. So since this is 85.62, we need to round it off to make 86. So Miss Marie's general average is 86, which is remarked as a pass.
So that concludes the grade competition task 2.
So let's move on to task 3.
So now we have finally arrived at task 3. So this table shows a sample card of a grade 6 student named Rico for the third quarter of the school year 2023-2024. In this task, to solve the blank spaces in this table, we just have to follow the solution as what we had in task 2.
So the first column in this table is the learning area, which is the subjects. So the first is the Filipino, English, Mathematics, Science, and up to MAPE. And then the second column is the total score of the written word and the total score of the performance task and the total score of the quarterly assessment. So to compute the weighted score, first, we need to know the weight of the component in the Filipino subject. So, in the Filipino subject, the weight in the written word is 30%. So, first, to get the weighted score, we need to multiply the total number of the weighted score multiplied by the weight of the component. Since the component of written word in Filipino subject is 30%, which is we need to turn the decimal number, which is 0.03. So the weight of the component in Filipino and written word is 30%. So we need to multiply the 85 to the weight of the component, which is 0.3, which is the 30%. So 85 times 0.3 equals 25.5. So the weighted score in Filipino in written word is 25.5. So to get the initial grade of Rico in the Filipino is we just need to add all the weighted score in all components. So the first is the weight component of written word, which is 42.5 plus 40.5 plus 15. So the sum of this weighted score is the initial grade of Rico. So 42.5 plus 40.5 plus 15 equals 98. The weighted point of performance task in Filipino is 50%. So we're going to multiply 82 by 0.5 since the weight component is 50%. So same procedure as what we had in the written work. We just need to multiply 81. So 81 times 0.5 equals, so 81 times 0.5, since 0.5 is the weight component, so it is equals 40.5. So the answer here is the weighted score of the Filipino performance task is 40.5. And the weighted score of the quarterly assessment. So the total score here is 75, and the weight of the component of Filipino in the quarterly assessment is 20%, which is you need to multiply the 75 by 0.2. So 75 times 0.2 equals, so 75 times 0.2 equals 15. So the weighted score in the quarter assessment is 15. So, and then the next step is to get the initial grade.
So in Araling Palipunan, the weighted components of written works is 30%. So we have to multiply 83 times 0.3. So the answer is 24.9. So next, we will get the performance task. The weighted components of performance task in Araling Palipunan is 50%. So 83 times 0.5, which is the sum is 41.5. And lastly, the quarterly assessment. So the quarterly assessment, the weighted components of quarterly assessment in Araling Palipunan is 20%. So 83 times 0.2, which is the sum is 16.6. So to get the initial grade, we have to add this weighted score from written works up to quarterly assessment. So 24.9 plus 41.5 plus 16.6 is 83. So we have to transmute this initial grade to get the quarterly grade. So the transmuted grade of 83 is 89. So 89 is the quarterly grade of Rico's Araling Palipunan. So next is edukasyon sa pagpapatao. So edukasyon sa pagpapatao is the same with the components in Araling Palipunan. So 84 times 0.3 equals 25.2. So in performance task, 84 times 0.5 equals 42. And lastly, the quarterly assessment is we have to multiply it by 0.2, which is the sum is quarterly assessment 0.2. Quarterly assessment, we have to multiply 84 times 0.2, which is the answer is 16.8. And to get the initial grade, we have to add this weighted score. So 25.2 plus 42 plus 16.8 equals 84. So the transmitted grade of 84 is 19. So the quarterly edukasyon sa pagkakatao is 90. Isa,
Go.
So, in edukasyon, pagtahanan at kabuhayan, the weighted components of this is in written work, we have 50%, the performance task is 60%, and the quarterly assessment is 20%. So, in written work, we have to multiply 80 by 20%. So, 80 times 0.2 equals 16. So, 16 is the weighted score of written work. So, next is performance task. So, we have to multiply 84 by 0. So, in performance task, we have to multiply 84 by 60%. So, 84 times 0.6 is equals to 50.4. And lastly, the quarterly assessment in EPP is 77 times 0.2 equals 15.4. So to get the initial grade, we have to add 16, 15.4 and 15.4. So it sums up, the initial grade is 81.8. So the transmitted grade of 81.8 is 88. So 88 is the quarterly grade of RICO in Edukasyong Patahanan at Pagkabuhayan.
So the weight component of the MAPI music in written work is 20%. So the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 0.2 at 76 times 0.2 is 15.2. So the weight component of the performance task is 60%. So the decimal number of 60% is 0.6. So 76 times 0.6 is 46.2. So in the quarterly assessment, the weight component of the quarterly assessment is 20%. So the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 75 times 0.2 is 76.4. So the weight component of the quarterly assessment in MAPE is 20%. So the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 75 times 0.2 is 15. So in order to get the initial grade, we need to add 15.2, 46.2, and 15. And the answer is 76.4. So the transmuted number of 76.4 is 85. So in MAPE Arts, the weight component of the written work in MAPE is 20%. So the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 85 times 0.2 is 17. So in the performance task, the weight component of performance task in MAPE is 60%. So 81 times 0.6 is 48.6. So the weight component in quarterly assessment in MAPE Arts is 20%. So 80 times 0.2 equals to 16. So in order to get the initial grade, we need to add 17 plus 48.6 plus 16 is equals to 81.6. So the transmuted grade of 81.6 is 88. So RICO's quarterly grade in MAPE Arts is 58. So in the MAPE Physical Education, the weight component of the written work is 20%. So 0.2 times 80 is equals to 16. So the 80 times 0.6 is 48. So in the weight components of the quarterly assessment and MAPI physical education is 20%. So 0.2 times 78 times 0.2. So the weight components of the quarterly assessment in MAPI is 20%. So 0.2 times 78 times 0.2 is 15.6. So to get the initial grade, we need to add 16 plus 48 plus 56. 15.6 is equals to 79.6. So the transmitted grade of 79.6 is 88. So Rico's quarterly grade in physical education is 88. So and MAPI Health, the weight of the component of the written work is 20%. So the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 85 times 0.2 is equals to 17. So the weight of the component of the performance task in the MAPI Health is 60%. So 0.6 times 81 equals to 48.6. So the weight of the component of the quarterly assessment in the MAPI Health is 20%. So the decimal number of 20% is 0.2. So 75 times 0.2 is equals to 15. So to get the initial grade of the health is needed to add 17 plus 48.6 plus 15 is equals to 80.6. So the transmitted grade of 80.6 is equals to 88. So Rico's quarterly grade in the MAPI Health is 88.
What is Rico's composite grade in MAPI? How did you find it? So to get the composite grade in MAPI, we need to add all the initial grade of the learning areas in MAPI, so which is 76.4 plus 81.6 plus 79.6 and 80. So to get the composite grade in MAPI, we need to add all the initial grade of the learning areas in MAPI, so which is 76.4 plus 81.6 plus 79.6 and 80. So the total is 79. So the transmitted grade of 79 is 87. So 87 is Rico's quarterly grade in MAPI subject. In which learning area did Rico perform best during the third quarter? So Rico performed best in edukasyon sa pagpakatao or ESP with a quarterly grade of 84. So this indicates that he has a consistent performance across written works, performance tasks, and quarterly assessment. So in which learning area does Rico need to improve? So as you can see in his grade, Rico needs to improve in mathematics, where his quarterly grade is 67. So the lowest among all subjects. This indicates struggles in both understanding and application of the subject content. So this means that he needs to learn and practice more concepts.
So, as you can see that Rico's performance in Aralin Panlipunan is consistent. So, what does his level of proficiency? And as what we can see in the grades here, Rico's performance in Aralin Panlipunan is consistent. So, what does this level of proficiency in Aralin Panlipunan signify? So, Rico's grade of 83 in Aralin Panlipunan signifies that his proficient level. So, this indicates that he has a good grasp of the subjects, performing well in written works, performance tasks, and assessments. Also, this indicates that he is consistently meets the expectation for the subject, demonstrating a solid understanding of the key concepts and the skills to written work, performance tasks, and assessments. So, it reflects his ability to apply knowledge effectively with minimal guidance. So if we're going to describe Rico's overall performance in the third quarter, as we can conclude that Rico's performance in the third quarter is satisfactory. So reflecting a balance between areas of strength and opportunities for growth. In his demonstrated proficiency in subjects like education sa pagpakatao and aralin palipunan indicates a strong grasp of these areas. However, in his lower grade in mathematics, highlights a need for further information and supports. And to communicate this concern to his parents, I would like to recommend providing opportunities for practice and exploring supports, resources to help him strengthen his confidence and skills in this area. I would like also to highlight that with encouragement and support, Rico has the potential to improve further. So, from my perspective, teachers who prioritize these qualities not only uphold ethical standards but also nurture trust and integrity within the school community. So, if the teacher is honest and accurate in computing grades, so this contributes to the wellness of the school. So, and honestly, in grading is important because grades serve as a measure of a student's progress and understanding. So any form of bias or dishonesty comprises fairness and could demotivate hardworking students while unfairly benefiting others. So transparency in grading grades, it provides an opportunity to clarity and take opportunity or ownership of their learning by understanding how their grades were derived and motivating students to improve. So, being responsible and careful and accurate, honest and transparent is not just a task for teachers. It is a commitment to holistic development and well-being of their students. So, be honest.
The integrity of a teacher's grading practices forms the bedrock of trust in the classroom. So accuracy in recording and computing grades isn't just about numbers. It's about fairly reflecting a student's effort and understanding. Honestly, in both the process and its communication ensures that students learn not only the subject matter, but also the importance of ethical conduct. So transparency, especially when sharing grades with students and parents, fosters open communications and allows for collaborative problem solving. From my own perspective, a teacher commitment to careful grading demonstrates respect for the students and learning journey, building stronger and more supportive learning environment. So it is about more than just grades. It's about building character.
So as a teacher, it is crucial to be responsibility careful, accurate, and honest in recording and computing grades. So as this reflects not only the student's progress but also the integrity of the educational process. Transparent communication with the students and parents is a key. So as it builds trust and ensures that any concerns are addressed promptly. Being diligent and this responsibility fosters an environment of fairness, respect, and accountability. Moreover, it sets an example for students, showing them the importance of honesty and precision in their own work and interaction. Ultimately, a teacher in integrity and grading shapes the entire learning experience and impacts student growth.
So, be honest, even if others are not, even if others will not, and even if others can.